Welcome everyone to this last guided test demo session. In this session, the focus will be on metals, covering both CSM and BM flow. As similar to the other sessions, if you have any questions, feel free to use the chat or ask your question during the presentation.
Okay.
Good to go.
Yes. Not in the session, but let me join. Okay, so good morning, everybody. First of all, we will start with the normal purchasing case, so the 3P purchasing case, mostly from BM. We can look into this to the part of CSM as well, of course, but the case that we had in BM covers a bit more of detail, a bit more of information. So we will mostly focus on that. But if there is a request to specifically see the CSM case, of course, there's no problem there. So most of the focus will be currently on, let's say, metal accounting reporting. And we can start from there also to show what the exact flow is, because I'm not sure if everybody saw the purchasing flow for this as well. So let me start with filtering on the batch, so we know that we have the correct case. And I will only show active postings because there is a lot of back and forth going. There is a lot of redundant bookings as well that might be confusing now. So let's start with this filtering. Did I enter it? Show only active postings, and then let's also focus on cobalt because it was a main cobalt flow. To start with the explanation, let me start from the purchasing contracts. So during our session, we created a purchase contract where we created also the fixations on that purchasing contract. So we maintained a specific percentage of cobalt, and we also, this one is important, we also maintained a commercial yield of 95%. Next to that, knowing that the material also has a technical yield. So let me go to the material master data to show you that this material also has a technical yield of 99%. So important, the material has, or the flow has both a commercial yield and a technical yield. There were some quality movements there and production movements as well. So we tried to take everything into account so we could show the differences. I think, first of all, to start, also maybe important, Philmon is also in the case, so in the call, so he will be bombing in as well with more information or more explanation. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or to just raise them during this session. What is a change is that for UMP, the quantity pricing and quantity hedging is the same. This will be more explained in the metal accounting where you can see all the differences. Maybe let's start from metal accounting. When we do a goods receipt on our purchase order, so we have our material with a specific percentage of cobalt in there, we have our commercial yield and we have our technical yield. We first take it into stock, and that stock amount is our label, including the technical yield, meaning that we have directly also a Bonimani technical that we book directly. So we don't take our technical yield into stock.
Maybe one thing, Yanni, and then I think it's known for most of them. And so we metal accounting, we have the same principle of location account and ownership accounts. So the 90 accounts you see are the location accounts. In this case, you only have 92, but everything which is 90, it's location, which is the account starting with 91, 92. These are ownership accounts. Same principle as we have today on COP, maybe other name or ranges, but principle, location, ownership is the same.
Yeah, indeed, I forgot to start with it. So this is indeed the location where we're talking about, and we take onto location our label, taking out the technical yield, and that's also in ownership, we book it directly as a technical boni. Next to that, we take the ownership of including also the commercial yield, and we book that separately. Please also see that we book in a suspense account during goods receipts, and it is only at the moment of invoicing. So we first do a goods receipt, then it goes into a suspense account temporarily. And as a moment where we book the final invoice, so not the provisional invoice, but the final invoice, then it goes from the suspense account to owned stock as ownership. So that is a timing that is currently not happening on COP yet, but we do this on UMP. So during goods receipt, we book it on the suspense account, and as the moment of final invoicing, we book it directly on human order stock from the suspense account.
Yeah, I think what is also important is the percentages that we use. And then I know these are things we discussed really in the analysis phase, but like Jana is saying, we book on the stock. On the stock, we use the labo percentage minus technical yields. On the ownership accounts, we use the commercial. The case we have here, it is with assay exchange.
Yeah.
So we have a percentage, and we can see it in the batch. We have a percentage for the labo, and we do have a percentage, which is a commercial one, agreed after assay exchange. So on stock, we use the labo percentage. On the ownership accounts, we use, in fact, the commercial percentage. And then the difference is also the commercial boni mali.
Are there any questions for this? Because it's a bit of a change compared to the system that you're familiar with.
Yeah, maybe to have it in a nutshell, the only change is that you now can see commercial on ownership. The delta. Previously, that line wasn't there. It wouldn't exist. But for the rest,
in
not
fact,
a lot changed.
Some changes, Peter. What is if we look at metal accounting COP, what is done, what is posted today? Today on the stock account, you also have a stock at Umicore. Like I say, maybe it's another codification, but that's not important. But on the stock, you book the labo, not removing the technical yield. So you take the complete labo, where now we say on the stock, we have in fact the yielded quantity. So meaning labo minus technical yields. And on the ownership, we book the commercial percentage, where in fact on COP, you also book the labo, but minus technical yields. I can, it's not prepared, but we can show the difference if needed in Excel. So
Yeah.
you would have
Maybe, if I understand correctly, let's say that you have 100 kg that you get from your customer. There's no commercial difference, but we have technical yield of 99%. Will your stock at Umicore show 99 or 100?
99.
Okay,
Technical
and
yield
now,
is 99, so it show UMK
okay,
it
so it
will show
already,
99. Yeah.
okay. And if we then later do a stock count and we see more metal, we'll never be able to compare it anymore with metal account. What is the reason why that's deducted? Because it doesn't really pose a problem. The commercial part, I understand why we do it, because now we can't follow up boni mali due to commercial reasons in metal accounting, and it's quite a hassle doing it via hedging because you need free fixations, which sometimes get forgotten, and that leads to difference between metal accounting and metal hedging, which shouldn't be the case. But why suddenly do we decide to deduct that expected yield? Can't it also pose issues on the audit if we do a stock count that they say, yeah, but there's more material than you talk about?
But if you do a stock count, you calculate your material quantity, and you also deduct your technical yields. So it's a little bit depending on what you are comparing. So we immediately take, in fact, the theoretical loss in the ownership, so we don't put it on stock. If we do a stock count, it's material wise, but we do the same with all postings. It's not only with metal accounting, with the purchasing. When you will see, but then we are running a little bit forward or ahead. In the consumption, we also take the yielded quantity. So if we take it in production, we take the yielded quantity, and we do the same with the produced material. So we on stock, we always work with the yielded quantity.
Okay. Yeah. I was just wondering. Okay, that's clear.
One question. I think this is the technical boni mali is not the production yield loss, right?
The technical boni mali, it's in fact your theoretical loss.
Production yield loss, yeah.
Yeah. And
Is that a
next to
production yield loss?
Sorry, is that then?
Is that the same concept of the production yield loss?
It's your production. It's depending on how you enter it. So we enter it as a technical yield. So it's more saying if I'm using that material in production, I will only have 99% of the metal back. The rest is production loss, but it's your theoretical one. So what you will have afterwards, if the example of Peter where we say, okay, we receive 100, but it's a technical yield of 99, so we only take 99. If then in production, I'm consuming the 99, but I'm only having in a production 98, I still have a production loss. Because your technical yield, it's your theoretical loss. Next to that, you can have the real production losses also.
But the reality production loss that might be different with theory technical yield, I think.
Yeah, your theory.
Yeah.
But that's in fact, it's your master data is quite important. But that's also something you have today on COP. You also have it, but you post it differently. But you have your theoretical loss, which is your technical yield. That's purely theoretical, and then you have your production loss because maybe you have to consume a little bit more material, or you produce a little bit less or produce a little bit more. For production, really the production gain loss, it's calculating all ins in a production order and all outs in a production order. And when you close your production order, WIP should be empty. If it's not empty, it's a gain or a loss. Again, same concept as you have today in COP.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Okay. So this is a part where we do a purchasing goods receipt, of course. Then, as Philmon mentioned, we also had production steps. So we have consumption here, back to your own stock, and then these ones are quality transfers where we lease it from blocked in quality to the unrestricted, while the lowest ones.
No,
Well,
go
the
on.
lowest, yeah, sorry. Well, the lowest ones are the move where we move from the Umicore suspense account for purchasing to our own stock. And own stock is then where we have it also as an ownership and not only as a location.
Maybe one small remark, Yanni, and
Yeah.
then I forgot to mention it earlier when we prepared it. One small difference we have, it's also that we post location-wise, we post on storage location. So you have the notion today on COP, the lowest level you have is plant. So you only know on a location account, my material is in this plant. UMP metal accounting, we go until the level of storage location. And so yeah, we can add it to also to the report. For the ownership, we don't care about storage location, so we put on dummy storage location. You will see it when Yanni is adding it. So we just say, okay, MA00, it's metal accounting. Ownership, I don't care about the storage location. But for the location accounts, we really have the correct storage location, which should be an added value. If you were speaking, Peter, about inventory, you can really check, this is my stock in this location and in this location. So a little bit more detail.
Okay. This was mostly I think the largest differences. We do have two other reports where we have a time overview and a balance overview where we can look further into.
I maybe have still some question because this is of course entered on the RBM setup or BM setup, whatever. But for CSM, when it comes to consumption and production, we were not yet at the same way of approaching it as BM, if I'm correct. And then I'm talking about when you consume and then you produce, that you have automatic calculations of Mali.
Not yet, Peter, but
Okay.
that's part of the jump project. That also for CSM we will switch to real production, because today on COP you don't do system-wise production, you just consume materials, produce materials. With the jump implementation, you will also go to production orders where you really say, and I'm not doing the production session, but where you say, okay, I have a production order, and can you go back?
But I know I just wanted to mention it because this is also a change metal accounting wise for CSM.
And that's
it's
why
not only commercial.
Can you keep the report, Yanni? Just
sorry,
1
I
second.
wanted to show the CSM case here.
Yeah, but it's also, you see, in fact, the 4001 at the posting code is a consumption. And if you scroll a little bit to the right, you see the production order. And that for CSM, Peter, fully agree that will be production, will be a change where we really will have a consumption on a production order, production, multiple consumptions, multiple productions on a production order. And then when you close the production order, when you say, okay, it's called technical completed, it's closed, we calculate the boni mali. We say, okay, at that moment, WIP should be empty. If there is still something on a WIP account, we remove it and we take it as a gain loss depending on the quantity.
That's clear. And then let's for example, and a simple case in which we talked about that expected yield being 99%, so one kg loss. and it appears to be 2 kg loss. Will the bony Mali then show the delta between the 2 and the 1 that we already took, or will I see 2?
You will.
Will I see the real production loss?
You will see the real. You will see
Okay.
the technical, and you will also see it on another. Depending on what you call the real production loss, Peter, I will explain what you see, and then it's up to you to say it's a real or not. So the 91, we will consume the 91 and saying, okay, for production, we remove it from stock and we put it on the WIP, and then we produce, and we only produce 98. Then we say, okay, we remove it from the WIP and we put it on stock. That means that I have still 1 on my WIP. Then I'm closing my production order. I will put my WIP to 0 and I will post on a gain loss account, but which is really indicated as gain loss for production. And there I will post the 1.
Okay, but
So
I somewhere see the 2. We started with 100 kg. We expect 1 loss. We eventually have 2. Will it show 1 in the end?
It will show 1. It will show 1 as a technical loss, and it will show 1 as a production loss.
Okay, so we need to combine it.
Yeah. So, but there is some. Can you go a little bit to the left, Yanni?
There is no.
It's. But yeah, that we will explain also in the training. You see that there is some logic in the accounts. So 92, like I mentioned, it's ownership, and then you see 87, 88, the complete range of 800. It's Boni Mali. So we have a saying it's a technical Boni Mali. It's a commercial one. We also have a Boni Mali for production. So you have a range of different types of Boni Malis which you can combine.
Yeah, of course, but like from a controlling perspective, we need to know the commercial one, and that's a separate track. And in the end, to know how efficient our production is, we need to know the real technical yield. And in that case that I just mentioned, it's 2, it's not 1, being the delta between the real and the expected one. So it's just important that we can do it, and that I can see 2 somewhere in an easy fashion. That's all.
Yeah, agree.
Okay. Any other questions? Maybe I would quickly, and that's what I was opening, quickly show the CSM case as well. I think it's a 5. And the difference here is that we only have a commercial yield and we don't have a technical yield here. And that is why we chose the previous example, because we had technical yield and we have commercial yield in the list. So therefore we chose the previous example, but you see here the comparable where we have the stock at Umicore that is included, and then we have the commercial Boni Mali with the Umicore suspense accounts. And then on top we have the consumption of production, the move from quality, and then the purchase invoice. So here as well we do move again to the suspense account, and then at the final invoice we move from suspense account to our own stock. Okay. If there are no extra questions on metal accounting, not sure if there are any extra topics, Thomas, that you think that we need to align. Otherwise, I would go to the balance overview.
No, yeah, indeed, I would go to these reports because these are. I think for the rest, we have the same functionality. We will not go in detail to every report, and you see this one. It's really similar to what we have in COP. We have the stock at the end of month on level of batch. We can show it, but it's exactly the same report as we have on COP. So it's the same functionality. And I think these 2 that you will show now, this is something extra that we have on UMP, which you don't have currently on COP.
Okay. So first of all, let's go to the balance overview. When we take the cases, we can take B04 with the month of April. We can separate it on plans and segments. Let me filter on the segments of BM and CSM. And change a bit of the layout. Of course, you can create your own layout. So this gives the balance overview for a specific month, depending on your cobalt. It divides it in plans and segments, and you also see your WBS elements. So which stock is location-wise for you, which is owned, tolling, of course, which stock is in transits, etc. So we have all the here the Boni Mali others, the commercial ones, the production ones where Philmon just was talking about as well, and then the technical. So this is a sum where you have the whole amount, but you can also click through, and there when it opens you have the different postings done for that segment, for that WBS element.
For the selected periods. So we are now looking
for April.
we are now looking in April. So it's the actual stock, and then you see for the selected month. And yeah, one thing, don't look at the numbers because we have a lot of test data. So don't say it's completely wrong. Yes, because people are just testing, so numbers are not showing anything.
There are even certain metals that are not expected, for example. So indeed, it's test data. So we don't. The numbers can be that it's not applicable.
I see a question. David.
The question is the Boni Mali other. What does it mean in the technical Boni Mali?
This is something, no, the technical, so you see, in fact, Umicore Boni Mali technical. That's a technical, that's what we just displayed. Like we say, we have wine for production. So if you really have a production gain loss, it's another wine. But then we have wine, and yeah, we do have, we will not go through it now because that will take us hours, but we have a complete Excel where in fact we explain all the postings. And in some cases, you can have a metal, for example, you can have a metal surcharge saying, okay, you have something on your toll account, you have 100 kg on your toll account, we give you 99 back, but we take 100 from your account. That will be also a gain at that moment because you get some extra metal. Some of them are posted on a Boni Mali order because we didn't make a distinction for all type of Boni Malis. We didn't make a distinction on accounts. We have wine because we want to have it separately. It's a commercial, it's a technical, it's a production. You also see Boni Mali subcontracting. It's a little bit similar to production. So for some of the groups, we really have a specific wine. Some of the other wines, but I cannot say by heart which wines. We just group it in an Boni Mali others. Is it answering your question, David?
Well, yeah, yes, indeed. Okay, thank you.
And again, we really have a quite complete Excel where in fact by flow, we really explain the flow and the posting scheme. And there you will see production is simple, but yeah, it's it's helpful. It's something we also use in training, and even afterwards you can refer to it and saying, oh, why was this posted? We even put numbers in that the system is calculating it. So yeah, that will be used really later on and shared later on, to have a detail on all the postings we are doing.
Okay.
And in fact, what Janne is showing here, because I think you have something similar. You have that stock for logistics and metals, which is also giving you balances end of the month. Same here. Janne did put April, meaning actual stock, but we can go back to previous months, so you can see it in previous months. It's similar to the report you have now. Big difference is that it is faster because it's on a higher level. If you just want to see, okay, what is my on stock, on plant and segment profit center, that's the lowest level, not on material, not on batch, also on the stock. If you really want to see it on a higher level, this is much faster than the other one, because the other one, we also have it on UMP, but there you have more detail, you have material number, you have batch number, but it's taking longer. So here it's really to have a quick overview on what is my Boni Mali, what is my toll account, what do I have on the toll account of that specific customer. You can quickly see it.
Okay. And we next to this, we also have a second report where we have, so here we compare all the data within 1 month, where we have actually the possibility to do it cross month. So if we say we want to compare, March with April, again, it's still the testing system. So please be aware that the numbers might not be completely comparable to the actual business. Let me filter again. So you can add profit center here in your filters if preferable. Let me execute this one. So here you see that it is being compared between March and April. So it's comparable with previous report, while that is only a certain month. While here you can even say, okay, I want to compare January until March, all the differences where you have them all as a column lined up next to each other. So this is Cobalt again, material MCO with your stock at Umicore, your WIP, your Boni Mali, commercial, technical. So all the field that you saw previously, or all the different WBS elements that you saw in the previous report, you can see them here, and you can compare these months next to each other as a reporting. And here, when you click through on it, same as the previous one, you do have the actual posting ones. I clicked on March, so I see March. Of course, when I click on the second column of April, I will see the postings of April actually done for those combinations. So for the WBS element, segment, blends, all the filters that are horizontally selected. So it depends a bit on, do you want to compare or do you want to see the data within your specific month and follow it up? Are there any questions? Something that might not be clear? No? Someone, something you want to add still?
No?
Okay. If there are no questions, of course, if there are questions popping up after the session, please let them know in the Q&A. And then we can still follow it up or pick it up afterwards.
Or during FitGap, then we will go a lot deeper.
Yeah. The Excel that Filmo was talking about during FitGap sessions and trainings, of
Yeah.
course, all those specific postings, how it is done, in which flow, those will be explained in those details in FitGap sessions and in trainings as well.
Okay, if there are no further topics, thank you for joining this session and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.